Hello and welcome everybody. We have the global lab patch notes for December 26th. And my eye is spazzing out again. So we have the big Alchemy Stone renewal update. So let's get straight into it. First off, in the Dark Rifts, you'll be able to drop the Essence of the Feeble Sky or Fragile Sky Essence. You will obtain up to 20 of these. Each one can be turned into, well, one Essence of Weak Sky and 10 sharp black crystal fragments will turn it into one full sky item, which is then the one you use for a bunch of things in the Alchemy Stone. So first off, we have the Essence of the Full Sky being used to combine the existing Alchemy Stones with a Vel's Heart, Khan's Heart, or Alchemy Stone, with the Alchemy Stone of Destruction, Guardian, or Life, with Simple Alchemy. So here we can see the combination of a Vel's Heart, a Resplendent Destruction Stone, and the Full Sky Essence, and it will then combine the effects. This is already what we've seen at Calpheon Ball. Vel's Heart or Khan's Heart, which have been improved with the Blessing or Overflowing Blessing, can be combined after extracting. This is a big note. So overall, to make use of the upgrades, you will first have to remove them with a Mirror of Equilibrium. After extracting it, you can combine it and then you can re-upgrade it. This is kind of annoying, especially under the aspect that we'll get into in a moment. But at the same time, at least, we can still upgrade it. To separate, so combined stones can be separated through simple alchemy. However, only unimproved alchemy stones can be separated. So again, without the upgrades, you can separate this again just with simple alchemy. But if you do have it upgraded, you're going to need to get another, Mirror of Equilibrium, remove all the items, and then get the item back. That is, to be honest, is tiny bit annoying, but hey, nothing we can use. So overall, for the combination, we obviously have the Vel's Heart with the Brilliant, Resplendent, Splendid, and Shining, and then you just get 3 different versions. The same thing for the Khan Heart of Destruction, the Guardian, and the Life. The Life one is combinable with the Life Alchemy Stones, and the other ones as well. So the Protection Khan Heart can be combined with the Protection Stone. There is a small little note for the Behelit-shaped heart. This is the Berserker and Black Desert TV animation, or, anime crossover. This will just be called the Behelit-shaped heart. There is no distinction except for in the item grade. Then for the separation, you just do the simple alchemy again with the item, and then you get your Vel's Heart and your stone back. So again, you need to use an Essence of Full Sky. Kind of an annoyance, the fact that it needs to be a base item and you need to use another one. And this is where it gets a little bit annoying. So obviously we have the Vel's Heart and you get your Brilliant back. The enhancement is also being changed. So first off, we have the Incomplete to Shining. They've now changed to have only the yellow grade. The Alchemy Stone with prefixes of Rough and Polished have also been removed. And when you grow an Imperfect Alchemy Stone, you will obtain a Solid Alchemy Stone. So if you get one from Alchemy, it will be a solid version. For Incomplete stage, it is the same white grade as before. There will be some deleted. This is effectively all the items that are being deleted, but that's not too important. If you have any, you'll get your payout from PA. There is some changes to the level of the Alchemy Stones and the prices on the market. Overall, we can see a lot of them downgrading from red to yellow, like, for example, the Perilla, Kutum Power Stone, Vel's Heart, and so on and so forth. They will be downgrading to yellow. Then we have some even going down from blue to green, yellow to blue. Overall, the item is not too important, but we'll see in a moment why they're doing this. Then we also have the integrated exchange prices changing. Obviously, we have new lower and upper limits. Existing gray, white, green, and blue, yellow, and so on for the Incomplete Destruction, Solid, Sharp, Resplendent, Splendid, and Shining. Obviously, going through the different grades of yellow, red, purple. The new lower and upper limits as well. Overall, nothing too crazy. We were expecting this. The Khan's Heart is also getting a 30% life XP effect added, effectively putting it at the same tier as the Treants tier, which had that as its unique selling point. Then also a small change for the buff icon for the Beherit Heart from the Berserker crossover. It will now get its own visual. Now we're getting into the charging screen. It has also been improved that when right-clicking on the Spirit Mysterious Powder and Star Crystal Powder, so the Velhar Powder, it will automatically open the recharge item. And now we're getting into the Alchemy Growth. So overall, Alchemy Stone's Polishing and Growth tab have been merged into one, and the Ancient Anvil system has been added. This is seen here, and this is where it gets a little bit rough. So we can see the success rate when attempting to grow, the growth success rate, Ancient Anvil value required of full sky essences per enhancement, and the required number of cronstones. So I've been looking into this a while now. I've spent a few hours on this trying to get this translated. Sadly, being a GIF, I can't get the quality high enough to actually translate it. So the cronstones seem to be optional, but the destruction is still possible at that point. You can do it without the stone, but what does seem to be an absolute requirement is the Essence of Full Sky. So the Essence of Full Sky will still be necessary, but the cronstones are optional. However, with these percentages, not cronning it is kind of a bad choice. I mean, at 150%, you're looking at 1.2 from Resplendent to Splendid. That is pretty rough. Agros Essence of 120. Now, I've calculated out a few things already. So, looking at the Sharp to Resplendent, we're looking at a 3.31% chance. Agros Essence of 45, which means you need 450 Sky Essences if you're going to pity this. And 17,550 cronstones. That is quite an amount, but it gets harder. So obviously you then have the Splendid to Shining, the Resplendent to Splendid. There we're looking at Agros Essence of 120 with 20 essences needed. So obviously you're looking at 2,400 Sky Essences. You get 20 a week. That is quite an amount to save up. I am curious if there will be other sources for the Sky Essences down the road, but at this rate, that is very few attempts per every 5 days, effectively. You get one attempt. The number of cronstones are quite high as well, with 3,780, and with this Agros Essence, if you will pity this at 1.25%, sure, I think the average would probably be around 50, 60 taps, but still, you're already looking at 453,600 crons. Then we go even harder on the Splendid to Shining. We're looking at 0.2%, that is extremely low, and an Agros Essence of 750 with 30 essences required, which means you only get 2 taps every 2 weeks. Or better said, 1 tap every 2 weeks, with a little bit left over. At that point, you're looking at 22,500 Sky Essences to get if you're going to pity this, and 3,562,500 crons. To be honest, the final step just feels ludicrous. Considering 4,750 cronstones a tap, that is really rough. Obviously, the chances of or people that have gotten Shining is extremely low, and even on the current system, but that is still really rough. The biggest annoyance, though, that I feel is the fact that you can only do this on the base stone, which means if you happen to have your Splendid combined with your Velhart, you will need to split it again, aka remove the upgrades, split it, then tap it, then combine it again, and then put the upgrades on again. If you would want to keep the stat boosts from the stone, but also attempt to upgrade it. So I'm seeing a parallel upgrade path in this case. You'll probably take your Resplendent, tap it up, because that one's still pretty reasonable, and then you're looking at the next upgrade effectively just going the same way. You're looking at the Brilliant, going from Brilliant to Gorgeous, and to be honest, with these cron numbers and these percentages, even if you have the materials and ignore the cron cost and just try to raw tap the Agros Essence, this Essence of Full Sky will be your biggest, choke point. I'm seeing just an issue with this. If you can, maybe try to upgrade at least to the Resplendent prior to this update to save you these 450 Sky tokens from the Sharp to Resplendent. Because this will definitely be a rough start, and it's only going to get worse from there. And you probably will need two. Moving on, though, we have some general class modifications. So on Corsair, they fixed an issue where characters would move backwards when reconnecting while at the water's edge. On Scholar, they fixed an issue where the falling motion would continue to be output while using the flow repulsion generation skill in certain situations. And then we have a full list of Seraphim issues. So there was an issue with the log appearance was not displayed when breaking firewood. There was an issue with the pickaxe. There was an issue with weapons and or movements did not appear natural during following social actions of confident, narcissistic, windy, confident again, and fighting spirit. Then they also added a 20% critical hit chance effect to overlapping slash and brand engraving skills. And then finally, they fixed an issue where Goyan's greatsword skill first move would always be linked to the next skill. Then we have the campsite buff renewal. This is effectively them moving a few things into a sort of poppable item. So first off, we have the skills and experience getting deleted completely, and it's getting moved into the regular villa buff. So we have 50% combat, 50% skill, and 50% heat stroke / hypothermia resistance being added into it for free. That is definitely quite nice. Then we have the skill and experience scrolls that could be obtained from some Valencia villas have been changed. This is just to match up the top requirement. Then we have the blessings of bravery, protection, and growth, which were the effective church buffs inside the campground. They have now been unified into a single one, still having a 120 and 300 minute options. If the price is the same as all three previously combined, so 3.5 million silver for 120 minutes and 12 million silver for 300. Effectively, it just combines all the stats into one. This change has also been affected on the church NPCs for the 3 million and 10 million price. The buffs have also been added so they can be purchased and used in order form. So this is for the Discovering Life, Strengthening Body, Adventurer's Luck 1 to 5, Protection of Adventure. Each item is an additional item that allows you to purchase existing campsite buffs in the form of an order book. The Order of Discovery Life, which is effectively the Villa buff, and Strengthening of the Body can only be purchased while the Old Moon book is active. Now, campsite buffs not available in order form can be purchased if you have a separate villa invitation as before. Overall, I'm not too happy. I feel like with a villa buff, they should have still allowed you to get the order form. It feels kind of sad, but at the same time, it means that if you have an Old Moon active, maybe buy a ton of these and just work through them over time and then pop another 1 day Old Moon. Since it is an item at that point and you can use it at any point, that might be a worthwhile choice. Also, some descriptions have been fixed, and also the buff that could be obtained through the Shattered Dragon's Thought, which is the Dracania exclusive blessing, has been changed to a 120 Blessing of Adventure Protection as well. Overall, we're going into the list of items. So here we can see the sale list has been adjusted in accordance with renewal. And then low utility items have been removed and exposure order of some components have been changed. So we have the Vitality Restorer Large and HP and Mana Potion being removed. The items for the gold bars have also been removed. The Atanas Firefly and Small Firefly have been adjusted to be at the top of the list. And then we have the new buff and spellbook items being added. So here we can see the old drop rate buffs being available, but we also have the sort of order version, which gives you an item, and then you can turn it onto your fairy. Same thing for these. Obviously, you can still grab your villa the old-fashioned way. However, if you want to have the auto buff version, you will need to have the Old Moon active. The church down here does not seem to have that restriction, because it does seem to be the same buff, but it seems to be just for 1 hour. It might be overlapping or just an alternative, but it's the translations that are a bit iffy. Overall, as well, with these changes, the continuous care has also been changed. So we have continuous care 1 to 5. Effectively, the maximum number available has changed from 5 to 7, 8 to 10, 12 to 15, 16 to 20, and 25 to 30. Also, we have some item category changes to utilize a wider variety. So we have the Cron, Elixir, Perfume order pretty much existing, but then we also have the Annex order form, Adventure Protection Scroll, Blessing of the Spirit, and Golden Blessing being separated. This means that if you're using a furniture buff and want to use the Agris coin, you won't need to choose anymore, because that is right now the case. Then we have a notice of change in the farming update schedule. This has been pushed back. This was supposed to happen still, but it's been pushed back. They do ask for an apology, mostly because they noticed some other issues. Then we have, if the old moon book is in effect, you can now specialize your skills directly from your skill window, so you no longer need to go to a skill manager to do this. Also, we have the information for the items being changed from character-based to family-based. This is pretty much the dungeon daggers. That is a really nice change, with them going into family-based. This might also affect you needing to do a rerun. And the grade from the dagger has also been changed to orange. Nothing too crazy, but still nice. Quest and knowledge, the conditions for obtaining the price of help knowledge through the Black Spirit dialogue have been changed. So before you needed to have why don't you do it yourself, and now you just need the sad imp with a red nose. Tiny change on the size and alignment of icons indicating additional properties on an item, transferable season, pearl item expired, etc. So pretty much the symbol has just been scaled up a little bit and moved more into the corner. They also added the ability to check guild name next to the family name in the snowboard event UI. Then we also have some general system changes. This is the big show visor setting change. So overall, the visor has been changed to be maintained even in combat stance, so you can now keep your face shield hidden even in combat. This will no longer automatically push it down. After equipping the combat stance with the visor turned off, after equipping the Hongyong helmet costume information for the Crimson Flame Winter Wonderland ball armor, the ball shoes, Bloody Rain streamer, and Crimson Flame earrings being shown here. The key that opens the message window for existing snowboard field in gamepad mode has been changed to the menu key, and snowboard rankings have also been changed to be tallied every hour. Then we have some general fixes and changes. Very few people will have been affected by this, but the issue where Caphras would become stronger at night has been fixed. The issue where movement speed would not proceed normally when using the Abyssal Well communication function has been fixed. There was also an issue for new adventurers with the Magnus Well icons. When moving a character to Tenebram Castle, the character will now move in front of the Tenebram throne. They also fixed an issue where characters will become stuck in the fountain when moving to Olvia Academy. They've also corrected the words and event descriptions where they were not correctly written in Korean. Snowboard to snowboard, it's Korean. Then there was an issue with the Land of Morning Light bosses remaining in the quest lists. There was an issue where duty-free and non-tax-free items were not distinguished when opening costume boxes. The location of the Olvia Academy world map territory icon has also been modified. Also an issue where contribution points could not be collected from certain bases under certain circumstances has been fixed. They also fixed some technical key guide line breaks, effectively just more UI fixes. Also, another one that definitely has been interesting is when riding a snowboard, the direction change guidance in the key guide has been changed from DA to AD. Also, there was an issue for certain circumstances where the mounts of other adventurers entering the Great Steps could be attacked. And the other one that's been bugging a few people that I know, the phenomenon of adventurer names and health gauges disappearing in the AOS practice match and free arena, where the opposing adventurer's defense skills were exposed, has been fixed. And after setting up navigation while sailing on a ship, the issue where the distance to the destination would disappear from the screen has also been fixed, and an item icon that was awkwardly positioned in the notification message at the top of the screen has also been centered. So overall, there was a slight shift there and someone noticed. Going into the TLDR, overall, the visor change, it's nice for a few people. A few people do like it. The skill effect, also quite nice. Can't really complain. The rework, like I said, I'm a little bit disappointed that a Villa buff does not allow you to get the Villa buff from the tent in a sort of order form poppable version. Kind of annoying, but hey, it's not the end of the world. Just buy a bunch when you have it. With the Alchemy Stones, I am annoyed that you constantly need to uncombine it to tap it up. It should have been combinable or enhanceable even in its upgraded form, at least with crown stones. Effectively, if you have an upgraded Vels version, just make the crown stones required at that point to make sure it doesn't break. I get why they don't want you to put in a Vels Resplendent and then have forget to do the crons and maybe get it destroyed with the Vels Heart included. At the same time, it is just a inconvenience to either have to do two of them at a time if you want to continuously upgrade, or to even just in general continue with this setup of constantly combining it, uncombining it. I feel like they could have definitely improved this. I'm hoping that this might get a slight overhaul, but I won't hold my breath. Overall, we're going to have to see. The big thing is, this is coming out on December 31st, so this is another Wednesday update. So if you really want to try to get through and maybe upgrade at least to a Sharp or maybe a Resplendent, now is still the time to do so before you will be time gated by these Sky Essences. Best chance is now, and I hope you get lucky because I have put off Alchemy Stones for years. I am now regretting it a little bit, but I don't think I'll be able to pull this off that quickly. So I wish you the absolute best of luck, and I will see you on Wednesday with the NAEU patch.